Okay, this is Songs of the Golden Onion, a series of Dungeon World being run.
Sorry, I can only search by topic for movies.
Siri heard series, and let me go put Siri on mute. 1 second. Okay, let's try this again. This is Dungeon World, Songs of the Golden Onion, an adventure that's going to be 5 sessions long. This is session 2. We are minus JD and their character Branca, but that's okay. We will get by just fine. I want to do just a quick bit of housekeeping before we begin play. The main thing I need to know is, did anyone advance to 2nd level? If you did, you can go ahead and do your advancement. If you did not, I am curious how close you are. So that's for the viewers too, just to get a sense of like advancement. So where's everybody at on their experience points right now?
I got 5 XP.
Okay, so you're
leveling up.
Cool. So you're 3 away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting at 7 out of 8.
Okay, 1 away.
I have 6 out of 8.
2 away.
I've got 7.
1 away. Cool. Well, I suspect you're all going to hit 2nd level this session. So, so you'd heard all these stories about the Golden Onion Inn and Tavern, and as you approach it, having been on the road for a number of days, having just relatively recently successfully sacked the ancient crypt of old Queen Rianne, as you approach the Golden Inn or Golden Onion, it doesn't look like much. It's a very simple, 2-story building. There's a stable, probably has like maybe a handful of rooms for rent. And as you go inside, we've already seen Ellen's halfling thief, Lomond, start drinking immediately and getting blitzed. Everyone else, I mean, it's a pretty basic setup. There doesn't seem to be anything very special about this place. It is run by a halfling named Glibben, and I think he's wishing Lomond that you would conduct yourself in a way that's a little bit more appropriate for our people, right? And yeah, I think you are all given rooms. There are 2 rooms for hire, and you can, go to 2 people per room if you wish. Some of you want to sleep in the stable, you can do that. It's free. However you want to do it. There is not a grand northeastern passage. There is not a vast cellar underneath it. There is definitely not a separate dining room with a dwarven clan. And there appears to be no other people staying at the Golden Onion. And so there's probably not a lich called Vigreeth the Bug Collector. All in all, something of a disappointment. And yet, I want to paint the scene a little bit. I want to know from each of you how your evening goes. Just what do you get up to? How do you, this is all just color, just flavor stuff, like just you resting, relaxing at the inn. I want to know a little bit what that looks like. But I also want to know, what do you observe, a small thing that you observe that hints that there's more to this place than it seems? Think about that for a minute. And whoever wants to go first, when you're ready, just say so.
I'll go first. I think
Please do.
I notice it doesn't seem like there's ever a lot of like staff around, but the staff that is around, it seems like they're always different people. Like there's way more people here as the staff than you would ever need for a place like this.
Yeah,
but they're
and
always
maybe,
changing.
and maybe it's not like a huge number, but it's like there's maybe like half a dozen different like staff people, which would be a huge number, which would be like an out of bounds number for like how little patronage is going on here, right? So that's interesting. Yeah. Anything particular about that staff? Like, are they just sort of locals or anything particularly strange?
I don't think I would recognize them at all, but I think the only strange thing that I would pick out is that they almost like come in and out on different patterns.
Interesting.
So it's like, you like one waiter might be out, doing all the tables, and then suddenly he's gone, and there's a completely different waiter doing the exact same thing.
Good. Who wants to go next? Oh, and also before we go, how'd you spend your evening? Like, what does Bowen get up to? I'm also interested in seeing you all at rest.
I think Bowen is probably, well, he's typically more social, but given that there's not really much patronage here, there's not many people to get social with. So I think he's kind of just scoping the place out. Like, I think he's heard stories. And so he's kind of, wandering around and trying to play it off well, but he's like, knocking on random, like what looks like loose bricks here and there, like looking for some secret passage or something.
Is it possible you found a small bookcase and you started?
It is possible that maybe I knocked a little bit too hard on a book.
Maybe. I'm not saying you did or not. Nobody was there to see it. Fantastic. Who wants to go next?
I can go. So, technically, I don't really need to eat. So, I kind of spend my evening just like relaxing. I think I lay on like the couch by the fire, and I spend my time talking to the cats that live in the tavern. Like, they come up to me, they come lay on me. And I think I realize that there's something a little strange because the cats keep telling me about these wondrous things that happen in the tavern that is not something that I can see right away.
Name one. What do they tell you?
Well, they're telling me about this 9-foot troll that lives in the basement, and I'm like, what basement?
Yeah, there appears to be no basement. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. Good.
I can continue. So Archaeus will she will eat, of course, and have a drink. And otherwise she will just sit there and let the whole feeling of the place, feel the place out, like sitting there, watching these guys, watching those cats. And on the occasion, she will hear things that don't make really sense, like they're coming steps from above or something like pounding from below. It's always just in the pauses between conversation, and when it's really quiet, you can hear stuff all around, like something's going on. Almost music, like there's a horn, even maybe she's just imagining it. She thinks she doesn't.
Good. You might also be imagining that Bowen is dead, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, then in that case, how about who's left? Lamond.
Yeah. So Lamond is taken his dark cloak off, and he's sitting by the bar in his finely embroidered vest with his family emblem on it. It looks like he's drinking a hell of a lot. So he's just being loud and obnoxious, looking like a complete spoiled rich kid, traveling, to sow his wild oats, that kind of thing. But he's not downing as much as what it looks like. He's using his sleight of hand to siphon off the liquor into other places, and he's acting more drunk than he is. He's probably just got a warm glow on, but he's acting like he's drunk as much as he looks like he's drunk. And he is keeping an eye out for rubes, and that's when he notices just each of the like small handful of patrons that are in there. They like on a cursory glance, they look like they could be any old like small town localite, but he notices that there's these details in their accessories. So like one will have a really fine gold watch hanging on its pocket, and then another one's got this medallion around their neck that looks kind of occultish. And every time he tries to engage them in, probably obnoxious drunk conversation, they hush whatever they were talking about, so he can't quite make out their conversations. And when they realize that he's listening in or like trying to have a conversation with them, they'll just pipe up with like regular old, milk's gone sour in Aunt Bessie's cow, that kind of chit chat. So he's saying some nice things to like pickpocket off them, but also he can sense that there's more to these characters that meets the eye, and he wouldn't want to go pickpocketing them until he knows more.
Perfect. While you're observing this strange group who's definitely pretending to be something they're not, at a certain point you will notice them conferring with an old woman who enters the Golden Onion. This old woman is, imagine a sort of like old woman Emperor Palpatine, like a hunched over black cowl, black robe, like kind of half hidden face, right? And it's almost like they're there to meet her. And you see them standing in a circle very tightly by the fire, whispering about something with her. And you see something pass from her to them. And they don't give her anything back. Doesn't seem to be like any kind of payment made for whatever she gives them. But she definitely presses something into one of their hands. And then she leaves. What do you do?
How do we know that she's a woman if she's wearing this cowl and robe?
Well, because you can hear her talking a little bit, right?
Oh,
and
okay.
You just
cool.
Make that deduction, I guess.
Lamond side glances at them and then like pretends to like down the last of whatever drink he had in his hand and slams it down on the table and like boisterously tromps over to those guys by the fire and puts his arms around two of them, like, "Hey, where's the party at?" But in probably more suitable.
You're trying to pickpocket them, weren't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. You have tricks of the trade if you want to roll that.
Can you link us the roll for your party,
mm-hmm.
please?
Yeah, I gotta get. I'll link the folder too. Hold on. I don't know if anyone saved the die roller from last time, but I'll just grab us a new one if not. We are going to be in Rapidly Kind Shark. Oh my. Right.
That's a nice metaphor for Lamond at the moment.
Indeed. Yeah. So yeah, roll plus dex for tricks of the trade. Let's see how that goes.
So 7 with my modifier.
Let's take a look at the move. On 7 to 9, you still do it, but the GM will offer you 2 options between suspicion, danger, or cost. It's going to be suspicion. You will be seen not by them, but the old woman might know what you're up to. Or danger. They have something in their pocket that you don't want to put your hand on. Choice is yours.
I like the second idea. I like what have they got that I don't want to touch?
You put your hand in. You manage to you get what you were going for. It's like a bit of like wax paper with something inside of it. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there also is something that feels kind of like well, I'll just say chitinous, insect-like, and whatever it is, it has a stinger and it stings the shit out of your hand, and it's a very terrible searing pain, and I think you are having to do everything you can in your power to not scream in pain. I'm not going to make you roll anything, but I just want to I'm going to take some hit points from you, but I just want to know, like, what does that look like?
All right. So Lamond doesn't stop talking. There's no substance to his words. Just like talking about how you're going, rambling stories of his exploits, and you can just see in his eyes, like his mouth is going, but his eyes is like, you can see the concentration in them, and then you can see like the smile begin in his eyes once he touches that wax paper. He's like, oh, that must have been what the lady gave them. And then when he feels the sting, like his eyes widen, and he starts talking about a great monster that they slayed, and they're the biggest, toughest guys in all the world kind of thing. And he's just like removes his hand and slides it into his pocket, and then he's like, oh, I think I've had enough for tonight. I'm going to retire to the stables. And so he stumbles out the front door of the inn and finds a bed of hay and then screams into the hay. All kinds of fun curse words.
I love it. You'll take a D10 damage as well. No armor. Bowen, give me a discern realities. I think what you described as discern realities worthy. Let's see if you discovered anything while you're looking around.
Discern realities is plus what?
Wisdom.
So that's a 7.
7. You get to ask one question from the list. That list is found in the playbooks, in the folder. At the very end of it is the basic moves. Or no, it's in the beginning. Sorry, page 2.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Glibben has A small collection of arcane books and other interesting topics on a shelf.
Okay. And would I recognize them as being particularly magical, or are they just
they're not like
rare?
inherently magical. They just have like, they're just like rare topics. Like you would not expect to find in keeps. He has like it's essentially like a little kind of small private like smoking room or something, right? Just very small. And there are several different interesting topics. You can snatch a couple of them and add if you have bag of books already, you can get 2 more uses. Otherwise, you just have 2 uses. So.
Okay.
And you can tell us what you grabbed later. The shelf is quite firm and bolted to the wall very safely. Meanwhile, Arceus, remind me what you're up to. It's been a bit.
Just watching and listening to those weird noises and just
That's
trying to
right.
discern what was going on there.
You can have a discern
There
realities
was
as
this
well.
horn.
Yes. Please give me
Cool.
a discern realities also.
Discern realities. I roll with wisdom. That's not something I'm good at, I think. Oh, okay. Okay-ish. Yeah, I've got a 10.
Nice. That's 3 questions. You can
Cool.
hold them as
Mhm.
long as you're in the inn, or you can ask them right now. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
I think what here is not what it appears to be is quite obvious to ask because I'm looking for stuff out of place.
I can still give you more info though. I will tell you this. You are starting to put together that the Golden Onion Inn, which sits at a literal crossroads between the north and the south, also sits at a crossroads between planes of existence.
Oh, of course.
How did you deduce that?
I think it has something to do with the quality of the echoes, actually. These echoes of boots or something that there was this otherworldly quality to it. And I think I've seen something like that before, somewhere in a crossroads house or a crossroads place.
And as you have that deduction of like, I feel like this is like some sort of like an interstitial space, right?
Mm-hmm.
The moment you start to have that feeling, you just happen to glance at Bowen stepping out of that little smoking room, and Bowen's skin seems awfully thin. You think for even a moment you can see his bone behind the skin. Briefly.
Okay.
You want to ask another one, or do you want to hold him?
Let me see what questions I can ask. What should I be on the lookout for?
Oh, good. You should be on the lookout for a person who might know how to access this other space, or access the true Golden Onion.
Okay. I think Bowen's the one.
No, possibly. Or it could be an NPC as well, but
yeah. I know, but at the moment, Bowen's weird skin and the fact that he's dead, that sounds to me like he's the one.
Something is going on. Do you want the third one, or do you want to hold it?
I think I'm going to hold it.
Cool. So long as you are in this sort of like normal Golden Onion, you can ask the question. You spend it whenever you wish. So, Siobhan, the cats are they're cats, and like the moment you express like, but there is no cellar, how could there be a 9-foot troll in the cellar? And they give you the most like eye rolly, like, oh, you dullard, you really don't know, do you? kind of look, right, and expression. And they, at a certain point, you know, they'll be like telling you certain things about like the golden onion and like different things like that. They begin talking about dreams, their own little cat dreams, and then they get distracted, like just randomly just start like cleaning themselves or cleaning each other, right? And just pretend like you're not there at all. And it goes on for a bit. So what do you do at that point?
So I think that I am going to transform into a cat and ask them to take me to these places that they've mentioned that aren't existing in this regular golden onion.
You could give me your roll. Roll that move.
Oh, it's a 4.
Your transformation goes fine. You, as a cat, you have the following moves. You want to note this. Always land on your feet. And the other move is fit into small spaces. Those are your cat moves. And as the mist condition, I'm going to say you don't have any hold. And instead, you are just going to be stuck as a cat for a little bit.
Okay.
You still can function and do all the kinds of things you'd expect to be able to do, as a cat, but you are a cat for a bit. But once you're a cat, then what do you do?
I think I will follow the other cats.
Ah, good. If you, what kind of cat are you, by the way? What do you look like?
I think I am just like a tabby cat. I look like a regular house cat.
Yeah, the basic gray tabby. You follow these two cats. One's a kind of overweight orange tabby. The other's a sort of silvery Russian blue. And you'll follow them about like the little, there's not much around the inn, but they kind of like, they make they have a little perimeter that they go around it. And they do stop and they meet that old woman on the road. And she kneels down to their level and they appear to be whispering to each other. And she even like holds out her hand, something in her hand, you can't make out what. And they put their noses in it. What do you do?
So I am a cat, and I think when I transform into animals, like I still have my like human brain, but I definitely think like an animal a little bit. So I go up for her like for pets.
Yeah, you can. You do. And she sees you, and she kneels down, and she leans in very close so that her cowl is almost like enveloping you, right? And she says, "If you feed from my hand, you will never be able to go back. Do you understand that?"
And I think I kind of like run away, like the cat run away. Like I startle and like run away because like it's like my human brain plus cat brain is like what danger.
Nice, good. So, in the stable, Lamond. Am I getting that right? Lamond. The pain passes. You don't feel great. And you've got this little bit of wax paper. What do you do? This looks like a little wax paper packet.
I carefully, with my good hand, open it up.
It is a silvery powder.
Ooh.
Like a silvery white powder. It is pretty obviously a narcotic. You're familiar enough with the underground criminal scene and bad boy halfling runaway
Like tell mommy
thing. To know that this is a narcotic of some sort. You probably smoke it. Yeah. What do you do?
I get my little finger.
Yeah.
Dip it in for a taste.
Taste it. It's definitely some kind of lotus powder. You've had lotus powders before, but this is an unusual one. You don't recognize the taste of this at all.
I think I want to find Bowen. I'm sure that he's got some alchemic
knowledge.
Yeah, medicinal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can find Bowen easily enough, and maybe Achaeus is even around.
Cool.
Yeah, so you're just in the dining room, I guess. Have that scene.
I was going to go look for Bowen anyway, so.
Oh, cool. I like the idea of us like both arriving to Bowen at the same time and us like saying his name at the same time and like
yeah.
What my thing is really important. Can we go outside? I have something to show you. Like, but obviously much more subtle than that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, I kind of needed a breath of fresh air as well. Achaeus, do you want to join us outside?
Yeah, I think I want to tell you something and maybe doesn't need to be in here.
I'm not used to being so popular, but okay, let's all go.
Lamond puts his brash, drunken voice on and is like, yep, I'm going to take you both back to my hay pile.
Oh, I was also going to say before I forget, Lamond, you can add gnome-infused spirits, 3 uses to your gear.
Yeah, okay. So we're at my humble hay pile. Ugh, guys, calm down, Achaeus. I didn't really want to come back for some hanky-panky, but look, I procured this substance. Do you recognize it, Bowen?
I don't know. I think I probably would recognize it. I think I've probably, in my mind, Bowen is somebody who's done a fair amount of drugs.
just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Purely scientific research.
Yes, scientific. He was the assistant to the regional wizard. So, he always had to test everything. So I don't know. Should I roll to see if I know? Or?
It would be a spout lore, and if you have a book you want to use, you can also get a +1 to that by naming the book.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I think probably one of the books maybe that I was reading actually in the inn. Like I was kind of reading about some of the stuff I've taken. And I'm like, oh, this actually makes sense. They use it for that? Okay, that makes sense. And so it was probably like a book of like let's see, what would it be called? It probably just a very scientific name, like medicinal uses for lotus powder.
Oh, good. Perfect. Yeah. Go ahead and roll +int +1.
So that is that's a 10.
I will tell you something interesting and something useful. The interesting thing is the silver lotus is typically associated with the astral plane of existence. The astral plane being the sort of vast silvery expanse that connects all the planes of existence to one another. The useful thing is if you silver lotus powder, if you ingest it or use it in the way it's meant to be used, you will have access to the astral plane, which is really something. But you probably already would have suspected that. I will tell you this, though. There's a danger because this method of entering the astral plane is, for lack of a better word, noisy, meaning you don't get to slip in unseen necessarily. It's the kind of action that will get people's attention, right? Someone's attention.
So Lomond, this stuff it's good, but I mean, whoever was dealing this, or actually whoever was buying this, is trying to enter the astral plane, but they have to have a reason, because this is not the best way at all.
It's maybe they use it to get to the actual Inn of the Golden Onion, because this is just a front, it's an interstice between several dimensions, obviously.
Let's just say the buyers looked like they knew what they were doing.
So maybe they use this to get, yeah, as I said, to the real thing that we heard about.
Yeah, because if they know they're going in with this, they're there for something. Was there anything weird about the buyer or the seller?
Well, I lift up my swollen, pussy hand, and they don't just carry gold and silver lotus powder. That's a bit weird. It's like they were expecting me to take it. Oh, and I don't know if you've seen some weird old lady going around. That's...
No, I've been busy. I was knocking on like every third brick because I always heard, good things come in thirds. So, but I haven't found anything. But I also haven't seen anything.
I like how you give us like that level of detail of like how much you've been knocking on all the bricks.
Well, yeah, I saw the old lady. Didn't make the connection though. Maybe she's the one who can take us to the real place instead of this crappy inn.
I mean, we could just take this stuff. I mean, like take it. I'm a long ways away from my lotus powder days, but I still know how to take it.
Yeah, lucky for you, I'm also experienced, but and I'm also quite good, as you know, at fooling the old rube. But these guys weren't your average rubes.
I'd like to just ask really quickly, Siobhan, have you perhaps wandered in feline form at this point?
Yes, let's just say that I have, and I'm like going up for pets from everybody. I'm like rubbing against your leg. I'm like, pet me.
Would they
Pet
know?
me.
Would they know that you transform? Presumably, you didn't transform like out in the middle of the open. You might have like gone. Gotten some privacy first. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. One of you looks at my little kitty face, and maybe there's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
you have a towel. You have a towel.
I have
Yeah.
the frostbite, so I have like
Yep.
the fur on my kitty face looks like the frostbite.
Yep. All of your animal transformations have that like frostbitten look.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care that there's a cat around my ankles. I even might try and like kick you away. Because I'm a halfling, you're quite big as well.
Maybe like Achaeus or Bowen notices that I have it and that they know that it's me.
I've still got a holdover from the Discern Reality, so I'll spend that to notice that. Is that okay?
I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Cool. So I'll pick up the kitty and give it a little, pet it a little, and then I'll say, Siobhan, you're very cute today.
Meow. Meow. Can't really talk. None of you can talk to me while I'm a cat, but I'm just like, meow. Meow.
I don't understand cat. I'm sorry.
But I'm just like, pet me. Pet me.
Yeah.
Because like I
okay.
said, there's the battle between the cat brain and the human brain.
Yeah, and I'm making a
Oh,
note to myself that I need to take telepathy so that I can actually communicate with you when you're an animal.
Well, so this is a great scene. What's next? I mean, it sounds like there was a vote for let's smoke it up and see what happens. There was a vote for possibly trying to find the old woman and inquiring further. And it also sounded like you were interested in the 3 cats who got this powder in the first place. They left, by the way. They didn't actually stay at the bar. So, yeah. Let me just poll the table. This will be kind of out of character. I just want to know what you're each thinking your characters might be interested in doing. Achaeus. Or Achaeus, rather, sorry.
Yes. Bowen might be a lich. Siobhan might be a cat. But Bowen's plans usually work. So I'm totally up with smoking this stuff.
Bowen, are you still committed to smoking?
Yeah, drugs.
Awesome.
Smoke them if you got them.
What about you, Lamont?
Yeah, I'm not one for confrontation, so I'll get high with my buddies and go tripping in the astral plane.
Sounds good. And what about you, Siobhan?
I'm fine with getting high in cat form.
Good.
They
Will
just
you be doing this in your room, or will you be doing it like in the stable, or where will this be taking place?
I think because, well, I don't know where Siobhan is staying, but Lomond is staying in the stable. So I would like to imagine I have my own room. So I kind of invite everybody up to my room for a partaking party.
Good.
For us to, do this lotus powder in private.
Yeah, you all go up there. I think that's great. The room is a pretty simply appointed inn room, couple of beds, a little rug, maybe even a little like wood burning fire thing. And also, curiously, above the door, there is written in charcoal the words, "Never look back." And you can divide up, well, you may want to, you only need to smoke a little bit to get the effect. You have a number of uses equal to all of you plus 1d6. So I'm going to roll a d6. If somebody just roll, if maybe Lomond, it's your stuff, so why don't you roll a d6 for me? Got it. So you have 6 total uses, 4 of which are going to be used right now. Although the cat may not need as much, so maybe we'll see the cat needs to use it twice. So you'll have 3 left at this point. You load up Lomon's pipe, and the smoke, fills the room. You do a little puff, puff, pass action. And you all just get kind of sleepy. And maybe you're chatting about old Queen Rianne and all the things, you've done so far. Maybe, maybe Siobhan is, I don't know, freaking out like cats do when you give them catnip or something. I don't know. And everyone's just kind of getting into their bliss. And you all also nod off, although none of you remember nodding off. And then you all quite suddenly wake up. And you're standing shoulder to shoulder to shank to shoulder. And you're facing the door to the room. And the words above the door that were written in coal are now written in a sort of silvery tincture. But they say the same thing. Never look back. And we have a custom move here. Silver Lotus powder. When you smoke the Silver Lotus narcotic, you're going to roll plus Constitution. On a 10 plus, you slip into the astral plane without trouble and can return to the material plane whenever you wish. On a 7 to 9, you slip to the astral plane, but returning to the material plane is violent and difficult. You take a d10 damage when you do so. On a miss, add 7 to 9 above, and you have gained the attention of an astral hunter. Everyone roll Constitution, please.
Seven.
10.
5.
Slick.
Not
Okay,
so
it's
good
got
with
5.
astral travel. Yeah, not so good with astral travel.
Bowen, how was yours?
6.
6. So Bowen and Achaeus mark XP. And the two of you, that admonition to never look back burns particularly bright in your vision. Helped along by the fact that you both hear and sense a distinct breathing over your shoulder. We're going to take a 5-minute break and come back. All right, we'll get going as soon as Ellen is back. Yep, and Ellen's back. All right. Bowen and Achaeus, you hear over your shoulder, perhaps 2 or 3 paces behind you, just a very sort of the other 2 of you don't hear it at all, by the way. Bowen, what do you do?
I try as hard as I can to not let anybody know that I feel something or hear something or see something. Like, I'm just stoic. I want to be the last one to react, I guess.
What about you, Achaeus?
Well, there's something behind me. I'm not supposed to look behind, but I've got a spear, so I just take a step forward and then just punch behind me with the spear. Not with the blade in front of it, but with the butt. But that's still, well, yeah. We'll see what comes of it.
A good thing. I will give you a discern realities. Roll DR.
Cool. Wisdom, right?
Yes, wisdom.
I've got a 6. It's better than the last thing, I guess.
Mark and experience.
Yay.
You thrust the butt of the spear behind you, and something catches it. Something is holding it and tugging. What do you do?
Yeah, that's great, because I can now use the spear as kind of a lever to just throw it in front of me. At least that's the plan. And then I don't have to look behind me.
I like that. I don't need a roll. Ever so briefly, the rest of you, Achaeus just blinks away.
Oops.
Achaeus, you wrench whatever it is in front of you, and there's just a swirl. Your vision kind of just goes crazy and blurry, right? And you suddenly find yourself floating in a silvery expanse, a wide silvery expanse. And you see rising up out of this vast silvery expanse, you see a creature rising up out of the silvery mists. It is titanic in size. It has 2 large claws or pinchers, like lobsters, for lack of a better word. It has a sort of golden yellow color to it, and it has a head with a single blue eye and a wide maw of teeth, and it's rising up, and it thrusts the claw at you, and in your haste, you're looking around, I assume just kind of looking around trying to figure out, steal yourself or whatever. You have your spear in hand, and you see behind you, you see your 3 friends. They're like up in the room as if the wall is missing from the room, and they're staring at the door. If only you could get to them. Maybe you can. I don't know. You're floating. What do you do?
I'm floating, so let's see what I have. I don't really want to be eaten by this thing. I could... No, that's not very useful. But I could use maybe my dungeon rations, because I've got some, and get out some... I've got a rope, right? And I've got a hook or something, so I'll just kind of try to backpedal like you do when you're swimming, and tie the rope around my spear and then throw my spear not at the eye, which was originally planned, but this thing is kind of huge, and I don't think the spear will do more than like a whimper when you. I don't know what the name of this eye thing is. Eyelash, like an eyelash. So I'll just throw the spear at them and then try to drag myself behind the spear back into the room. That's my plan.
I love it. I don't think I need a. Give me a strength roll. Roll plus strength.
Cool.
Defy danger.
Yeah. Okay, let me defy danger. Yeah, I've got to say another 6. I'm really going for the XP here.
You are indeed going for the XP. You are trying to. You throw the spear. The spear lands on the edge of. This room that they're in, it appears to be like just by itself on like a shelf of rock floating in the silvery ether. And the spear hits the rock, and you are trying to like pull yourself up back into the room. You got the rope, attached to it. That was easy enough. And that's when you realize that there's also a rope or a cord, a silver cord connected to your body. And it's connected to your body like from the sternum, and it kind of trails out behind you and in front of you. And the creature comes up and snaps the claw on that silvery cord coming out of your body.
Oh no.
And you feel this terrible shockwave come over you. You're going to roll plus Constitution.
Okay.
On a miss, the most important thing is on a miss, you are permanently in the astral plane and may never return.
Okay. No, I didn't miss that one. I've got a 12.
You got a 12. You feel the shockwave, but you are good. It passes over you, and I will indeed let you get back into the room. And you get back into the room, and like you don't even like remember pulling yourself up. You don't remember clambering back next to them. You were just quite suddenly standing next to them again.
I'm taking a deep breath. Whew. That was interesting.
I have a picture of the creature that was hunting if you want to see it.
Yeah.
I will put it in the on the image board. Old school D&D players will recognize this book as the first edition Manual of the Planes. That's on the image board in the folder. But you no longer hear the breathing. So that's good. Everyone else, what are you doing? Lamond.
Really not looking back. Side glancing to Bowen to one side and little kitty Siobhan on the other side. And I'm like, okay. And then I guess Achaeus pops up and I'm like, okay, and walk towards the door.
Yeah. Do you open it?
I look at Bowen for guidance.
Well, can't hurt us. Might as well.
Well, it can. But okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
All right. Let's do it. Go through the door.
You open the door and you are hit by warmth, the smell of sizzling meat, in the distance, in other rooms, you step out into a hallway, and in the distance, on the other sides of walls, you hear laughter and chatter and talking. and a young elven woman is coming across this hall that you step out into. And she sees you all and says, "Ah, welcome to the Golden Onion." And she kind of looks over you. She looks at you, Bowen, and she's pretty obviously looking over your shoulder. And she says, "Don't turn around. Whatever you do, don't turn around."
No, I got that. Yeah.
Good. Well, welcome to the Golden Onion. If I don't know if you've ever been, but the whole thing is a sort of circular. This is one of the outer circles, and there are interior circles with various rooms and dining halls and that kind of thing. Be careful. The closer you get to the center, the center is where some of our larger residents stay. So mind the center. But yes, please continue on. Have a look around. If you need anything, I'd say yell for me, but there's a good chance you're not going to see me again. Enjoy your stay. And she continues on.
Are we supposed to tip? Should we tip you?
And she just carries on.
I start running towards the meat because Kitty is hungry.
Yes, indeed. If you make to the left, it's a circle, but it's a very it must be a very big circle because it's a very extremely gradual, gentle curve, right? It does not curve sharply. But you eventually are walking and you look to the right and it opens up into what appears to be a large dining room with a bunch of people sat at tables. And there is indeed sizzling meat being passed around and someone singing a song and all that kind of stuff. So what do you do?
I jump up to one of the tables that has a setting place and start meowing. Meow, 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 meow.
And I think you're sitting next to a man, we'll say a gnome. There's a gnome you're sitting next to, wild shock of purple hair on his head. And he says, "You know you don't have to do that anymore."
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "Just try to talk. It's okay."
What?
There we go. Good. And he holds out his hand to greet you.
I hold out my little paw.
He says, "Good. Yes. Hello. My name. I need a name. I need a gnome name. I don't know. Give me a gnome name. Give me his first name's Brendan. What do we suppose his surname is? Something wild and gnomish and crazy."
Jack Sprocket.
Perfect. "My name is Brendan Jack Sprocket. It's very fine to meet you." He shakes your little paw. "Where do you come from then?"
The north.
"That is quite vague, but I will take it under advisement."
I'm hungry.
"I can see that, although," and he his eyes get wide, "you certainly shouldn't be. You've had something of a 4-course feast as of recent. I can tell. I can see it on your face."
What do you mean? I haven't eaten in 3 years.
"Well, I better go then. Here, have this." And he pushes a plate of food towards you and gets up and walks away.
Okay. Num, 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 num.
What are you doing in the meantime, Lamand?
Well, initially I was following Siobhan because I thought she knew what she was doing. And when I see that she has just been degraded into begging for meat. I wander off, scoping the other patrons out, and picking up the odd, tumbler of ale.
There is a woman sitting in the corner of the room. She's wearing a slim gold robe, and she has a featureless gold mask, but the robe is cut so that she has a womanly shape. This sort of featureless gold mask over her face. And she leans over to you and she says, "That one over there." She points at Siobhan. "That one over there will eat us all someday."
Yeah, she is pretty hungry. Hey, well, anyway, me, I'm Lamond. What's your name, lovely lady?
I do not have a name. I am beyond the concept of names. I have only thoughts and visions, and I have seen that one. And that one will devour us.
So Lamond is pretending not to hear all those stark words, but he's filing them away and is like, "Well, I'm going to call you Sugar Lips. So, nice to meet you, Sugar Lips. I'm going to go away now."
Its teeth drip with the blood of the many.
Yes, well, she has been eating all sorts of creatures today. I think she's eating some lamb at the moment. It is quite rare. There is a bit of blood dripping down. She is a messy eater when she's in cat form. Anyway, is there anything particular that you wanted to tell me? Hey? Winking, being charming terribly.
She just goes back to holding her little cup of tea. You don't know how she drinks it because she's got this gold mask on, but maybe it's just for show. Meanwhile, Bowen, what are you doing?
I think I'm knocking on every fourth brick in the wall. Just trying to find something.
Indeed. Roll discern realities.
That is a 7.
One question.
What is about to happen?
You get to a brick that is, you tap on it and it gives a little bit, and this portion of the wall kind of pushes forward a little bit, a secret door. And you hear inside this room a sound you're probably pretty familiar with. Murmuring and chattering of academics. And you may have to, if you go inside here, you may be expected to demonstrate some academic prowess of your own.
That'll be easy.
Do you go in?
Yeah.
You step inside a room that is lined with bookshelves. A sort of octagonal room. The bookshelves are quite tall, about 15 feet high. and there are desks arranged, and there are wizened old men and women chattering back and forth about various subjects. And when they see you come in, they stop and they turn and they say, they look at you, and one of them says, "In the world where you come from, what is the most perplexing problem, and what is your particular theory on how to solve it?"
I mean, the most perplexing problem is that we continue to die. And so my solution, I've come up with this solution many years ago, which is just that, we take the proper nutritions. We do what the trees do. The trees, they can live forever.
Yes, yes. The problem of death is one that cuts across many, many dimensions and planes. And yet you were not able to escape it.
Well, that's an argument for another day. I could escape it.
They look at each other. They look at you. They say, "No, friend. Your theorem did not work in practice. You are transitioning, friend, to another place."
Well, I mean, we're all transitioning. You were in a different place today than you were before. Who's to say there could be a place you go after this?
Yes. Yes.
I'm looking
Transition.
for, yes, transition to the ultimate multiverse above us. That's what I want.
They say, "We are very old and very tired, but your muscle hasn't completely deteriorated yet. It hasn't completely sloughed off the bone yet. Would you mind perhaps getting that book off the shelf for us there? That one there with bright blue binding. It's a book about interstitial reality."
You're sure I should grab that book?
I think you ought to grab that book, friend.
It seems very bright. Is there a reason I should grab that book?
It stands out among all of the books, doesn't it, friend?
It does, doesn't it?
That's how you know a book wants to be read, when it catches the eye. They say you should not judge a book by its cover, but that's patently ridiculous. Of course you should.
I have patently agreed with that. You should always judge a book by its cover. This is the brightest book. I will grab it.
We cut away. Achaeus, what are you up to?
I think I'll follow Shuan just to see that our caddy druid is all right. I'm a bit surprised that she's so hungry because usually she doesn't eat at all. But, well, maybe it's caught up with her. So I'll leave her because she seems to be in good hands, and I look around the hall, and I think I'm going to look for dwarves, actually, because one side I want to look at that hall. On the other side, I have this electrical war axe that I want to merge with my spear. So I actually have a legitimate reason to look for a forge. So, see?
Yeah, that's great. Well, also, you had mentioned, I didn't see it till too late, but in the Hangouts you had mentioned, like, maybe you had said that you were interested in finding this Stone of Ancestry, but then maybe changing that. But I'm interested in Stone of Ancestry. I mean,
okay, if that's interesting to you, that's
out of character,
cool.
out of character, what is the Stone of Ancestry meant to do, and why does Zacchaeus want to find it again?
It's meant to be actually the top of a mountain, and that connects everything to everything else. And if you pour part of somebody's blood on it, then it will show you their ancestry, where they are coming from, who their parents were. And that's what Zacchaeus is looking for, because she was taken from her family when she was quite young. And well,
that's good. You can wander around a bit trying to find that particular dining hall, and you actually don't have to look that hard. You just are there.
Cool.
And you see it. There's a doorway. There's some steps that go down. It's kind of like a lower, depressed area. And you see these dwarves sitting around a long, round table, and thrusting up from the center of the table. There's a circle on the table. Thrusting up is a large rock, a very big, large rock. And the dominant feature of the room is this huge fireplace that's shaped like a dwarven king's head, and the mouth is open, and that's where the fire is. And you hear these dwarves, they're muttering to themselves. They occasionally break out into song. Occasionally they get into arguments. You're watching them for some time. And you were led to believe that not just anyone can come in, but there doesn't seem to be anybody stopping you. So what do you do?
Well, is there somebody I could ask for permission to enter? Some kind of door man person that's standing around there and looking out, because I don't want to enter without being bidden, because we could get off on a bad footing. I don't want to do that.
Indeed. I think you will see, so the little stairs go down like one flight, and then they cut and go down another. So it's like that, And in that sort of like first little landing, there is indeed a dwarf who's kind of like arms crossed, like pressed up against the wall asleep.
Okay, so I'll just try gently. So like, excuse me, hello.
Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry. No outsiders. No outsiders. You'll have to go.
Yeah. Okay. So no outsiders. How do I get to be an insider?
Well, step one, be a dwarf. Step
That's
two,
it's kind
be
of
a
hard.
Grimroot dwarf.
Okay, how do I become a Grimroot dwarf?
Well, these questions are getting much more complicated, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, but I actually want to enter, and I don't want to do it against everybody's will, because there might be a fight and then people could get hurt, and I don't think anybody wants that. I don't want to get hurt by you.
What business do you have with the Grimroots?
I don't know. First of all, I heard about this Stone of Ancestry, and I'm looking for mine. So
why? So you want to go spill your blood on the Stone of Ancestry, do you? We don't call it that, by the way, but nevertheless, the colloquial term is known to me. Don't you know that if you spill your blood on the stone, you're going to become obsessed with it, and then you're never going to want to leave? That's what happened to us.
Oh, well, that's not actually what I had in mind. I think a bit more research might be called for. I don't want to be obsessed with that stone.
Yes,
and never leave, because you seem nice, and I like your songs, but
Well, all I know is that lot down there. They've been sitting there arguing about lineages and bloodlines and ancestry for centuries. I'm not a Grimroot myself, so I've managed to avoid it.
Good for you, I guess.
I can go down there and see if they'll hear you. All right, wait here.
Oh.
He trudges down. We'll come back to that. So, Siobhan, you have eaten. You are all good. You can talk. What do you do?
Are there any weird smells around?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think so. I mean, were you looking for anything in particular?
No, but just something that like catches my nose that I want to follow.
Interesting. I think you are going to be aware. You're going to be aware of a long line of large ants. These ants are about the size of like a thumb. In a line, carrying bits of cheese, apple, other food somewhere into a deeper layer of the inn.
I'm gonna walk up to the ants and look at them going, and then I like lean down. Excuse me. Hello.
They all turn and they look at you and they say, you in unison, you are expected.
Me? But why?
And they turn and they just continue.
Where are you going?
They didn't make no response.
I follow them. Aunties, where are you going?
They go a couple of layers deeper into the Golden Onion. Hopefully not too deep, because that's where all the large residents live. But you go a couple layers deeper, and they go to a room, the door of which is cracked open and is perfectly dark. And they go inside with their foodstuffs, and they enter the room. What do you do?
I like try and like peer into the room and use my whiskers to try and like see if there's anything around.
Give me a discern realities.
Six.
Mark an experience.
That levels me up.
Yeah, leveling is after you guys have a rest, you'll be able to level.
Okay.
You poke your head in. Maybe you even step in a little bit into this dark room. And you feel crunching beneath your paws. The floor feels like it's moving or undulating. And you are aware that there are a carpet of beetles and cockroaches and other insects, millipedes, centipedes, wide, thick, all over the floor of the room. And there's a single lantern on a table. And sitting at the table is a person slumped over entirely. You can't make out anything. Just slumped over, wearing some kind of robe. And the insects begin to swarm you and swarm your body. Biting you.
Make that like cat, like anguished cat noise.
Trying to pull you down. What do you do?
I think I say like like, stop. I like kind of roll around a little bit trying to get them to stop.
Yeah, if they will just start to like zombie world you, right? Like they're just piling up on your body, right? Like caressing over you until there's just a mouth and a snout and two little kitten ears and a paw beneath these bugs. What do you do?
Are they trying to like hurt me or just like wait?
No, you may never come back up. Who knows?
I think I like try and like run and like jump into like the person's lap. Like, help me.
Give me a defy danger with strength.
Oh no, I am very bad at strength. That is a 2. That is a 3.
Mark an experience and you take a d10 damage, no armor. Just let me know how much damage that was and I'm going to cut away.
Did I reset HP from last time?
Yeah, you all will be at max at this point. So.
D10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a 9.
Yikes. Lamond, what do you do? Where are you at? What's going on?
Oh, I'm wondering. I have these shots of gnome infused spirits. Do I actually know their like effects? Do I? Because when I drank, I tried to walk through a regular wall, and that was a fail. I don't think I would have the knowledge.
I will tell you out of character that the gnome spirit, the gnome infused spirits, are magical in nature. They're magical on the astral plane. And drinking them gives you the ability to alter reality in small ways while you're here at the Golden Onion. Very small things, but possibly important things. Changing substances, creating doors where there were none, changing your appearance, that kind of thing.
And how much of that do you think Lamond knows?
You know, I think you're remembering the gnome-infused spirits and what they tasted like. Maybe even have it in the back of your mouth, the flavor of it. And you're looking at your mug of ale, which you just finished, and wishing that it was full again. And then quite suddenly, it is full again. And so maybe you're having a thought.
Ooh. But again, we are in an astral plane, so maybe that's just what happens in an astral plane.
Possibly, yeah.
All right, cool. So, Lamond wants to go deeper. You know, that's where the bigger residents are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that's where the biggest loot would be.
Probably.
So Lamond slides away from creepy golden dressed woman and you know, smiles and nods as he's moving through the room, and you know, looks for a side door that maybe, doesn't look that inviting, and maybe even like servant or servant doors, access doors, ones that, would say staff only, and like that's usually where the good stuff is kept.
Yeah, roll DR.
Eight, and my modifier for wisdom is 2, so that's a 10.
Nice. You get one question, or 3 questions, but you can ask one now.
Right.
Hold them if you wish after that.
Yep. What here is useful or valuable to me? My thief brain on here.
Yeah, absolutely. You will see. You're walking around, and there are like little hallways jutting off to the left and the right of every layer, right? And you get to one where you see a path of silver coins, as if someone's money sack was cut open and silver coins were dropping down the hall. What do you do?
I'm pretty good at recognizing a trap when I see one.
Yeah.
So as much as I do like silver, I'm after things worth more than just plain old silver. So I would like get a feel for the area to see whether or not there's more at play.
You can do trap expert and roll it with +1 for following up on your DR.
Ooh, 5 trap expert. Dex. All right, cool. That's a 7 then.
And I think you get to ask a question from your trap expert list.
Oh. If there is a trap here, what activates it?
It is not a trap per se. It is, however, a way of luring a greedy person, somebody who can be bought. Who else would follow such a trail?
That, to me, says that there's something worth buying. I disregard all the silver, but follow the trail.
We shall come back. Bowen, you have to get up on a little ladder, but you are now on the ladder, and you reach out for this bright blue bound book, and as you touch the bookcase quivers ever so slightly. Do you remove it?
Yeah.
You pull the book out, and there is a slight lurch as a shelf kind of falls to one side, a peg loose, and the whole thing just kind of shakes a bit. But it settles out, and it's fine.
Oh, thank God.
You can go back down with your wizened old companions and bring them the book. What do you do?
Yes, I would look through the I'm just looking through books at this point, trying to find Trying to figure out why we are where we are and what it is.
Yeah. The books are. The books have no writing in them. They are all blank pages.
So I think that would be a weird thing. I guess at that point,
Including the blue book. It also has no writing in it.
I guess I cast detect magic. Like I'm trying to like see if there's like an unwritten word here.
It's a bit of a wildly useless spell, if I'm being honest, in the astral plane.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, we are in the astral plane.
But I will tell you this: they just seem like blank books.
I guess I would just want to study the books. There has to be something there that's not. It's almost like the unwritten word is more powerful than the written word.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
And they all look up at you and they say in unison, exactly.
So with that, I guess I studied the book a little bit, but more studying everybody around me.
They're watching you look through the book, very intrigued. And one of them says, "You should keep that book, friend. Those are your pages now."
Okay, that's good to know. What happened to your pages?
Do not look at the last page.
Well, I mean, I usually read my books front to back, so I don't think that's a problem.
Take your time getting to the back, won't you?
What happened to your book?
Never look in the back of the book.
Okay. Is it just the last page or the last part of it, or?
They smile benevolently, but wordlessly.
I see. I'll know. I'll know when it's time to stop reading this book, right?
They nod sagely.
Yeah.
And you still hear behind you, perhaps a step or two closer, this
I think when I hear it again, maybe I stumble forward a little bit. Like it knocks me out of my seat.
Yeah. And they all look over your shoulder at whatever's behind you. They smile and they nod.
And I can't look behind me. So.
Indeed not.
I believe them. They see something.
They do. Meanwhile, Achaeus, after some time, this dwarf comes back to you. He's a normal, dwarfy looking sort of dwarf. And nothing particularly remarkable. He looks happier and a little bit more excitable than that grim lot downstairs. He comes up and he says, "All right. They say you can come down, but only if you first do something for them.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So, turns out the proprietor of the Golden Onion has a casket of dwarven nog in his cellar. This dwarven nog, I am led to believe, is one of the final caskets of nog that were drank by that lot's ancestors. And they were being laid siege to by orcs. They all died drinking this nog. So it is something
Romantic.
they learned from the stone, and they're very, very committed to getting it back. And yes, it has familial importance to them.
Okay. Okay, so I'll see what I can do about the dwarven ancestral nog.
They have repeatedly asked the proprietor and the help to produce this nog, and the proprietor has been most unforthcoming.
Okay. So who is the proprietor anyway?
Oh, well. Oh gosh, I don't even know anymore. It's been so long since I took this job. And he sits down and he falls back asleep.
Well, that's a weird, those are some weird folks. So I think I will go back to the hall where I left everybody and see what they've been up to. Also, I need a forge.
I think you can run into Bowen pretty easily, because Bowen's kind of, I assume, Bowen, you're leaving that little library.
Yeah.
Finding Bowen won't be any trouble.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on with Siobhan in the meantime. Siobhan, the bugs are, it's like you feel like they're like nibbling into you and just like draining your life force or something. It's terrible. You're also just like they're also just kind of forcing their way into your mouth and choking you and your ears. What do you do? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Oh, so the bugs are, you are underneath the swarm of bugs. They are nibbling at you, biting at you, and they are forcing their way into your mouth and your ears. I mean, that's what's killing you, is they're kind of choking you, right? As they kind of force their way in. And we just see a single tiny paw there, scratching at the top of the surface.
Can I turn back into my human form, or are you still keeping me as a cat?
I shall give you a wisdom roll to see if you can manage it.
In an attempt to like spray the bugs off me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a 10.
You do. Describe it.
So I think poor little kitty Siobhan is like drowning in the bugs, and it's kind of like, you know, because I'm a tiny cat, right? And then, like, I mean, not that I'm a huge human, but I like, you know, expand out into a human, and it kind of sends the bugs flying in like a spray. And so I like get up in my like human form and like try to run out of the room.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Crunching bugs all along the way.
Yeah, coughing up bugs.
Coughing and crunching. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you're good. Back over to Lamond. So you're just following the coins then, Lamond?
Yeah, but in a tiptoe kind of stealthy way is, my form.
Good. You turn into what appears to be some kind of like bath, like a bathhouse bath. the air becomes quite moist and warm. You see a large sort of tiled depression bath type, like a pool basically in the ground. And there's tiles everywhere. It has a sort of Moroccan vibe to it, right? Everything's tiled. And you see a rather large individual in the water, preposterously large, like obese, but like not even humanly obese. Like it would be impossible to be this big.
Like Jabba, but bigger.
Yeah, there in diameter. There's something like probably like 6 or 7 feet, right? And they're in the water, arms dramatically shorter, or they look very, very tiny compared to, because they're just normal sized arms compared to the bulk of their body. Perfectly smooth and hairless, and with a collection of boy whores and girl whores crawling all over their body. And this person wading in the water, and it's quite a big pool actually, but they're all kind of like up on one side of it. He looks up at you and he says, "Oh, you found my lure. Splendid. Come in, come in."
Hello, friend. A lure is only a lure if you bite the lure. I've come to commune with you.
Commune, as if I were a god. Well, perhaps I am. I do have something of a mastery over life and death. Would you like to see it?
Oh, I can see it quite fine from here. You have a lovely range of close friends tending to your every need, it appears so.
Yes, and practically an endless supply. Aren't I a lucky boy?
Indeed. What's your name?
That is not important.
One such of yourself must have a glorious name.
I have a proposition for you. I have a proposition for anyone who walks through that door.
Do tell.
Would you like to make a little bit of money?
Money doesn't necessarily light my fire, if you know what I mean. I do enjoy riches and treasures and ancient wealth of different kinds. Money is just one of those forms, but I feel like you might have something more interesting to me.
Perhaps I do. And he kind of leans back. And he's like in thought, deep contemplation. All right, then. I need something.
What is it that you need?
A friend of mine, well, friend isn't quite the right way of putting it. Let's say a friendly rival of mine.
Oh, yes.
Who lives here in the inn. They have something I need, and I could use a nimble pair of hands to get it for me and to bring it back.
Lamond holds his hands up to show the nimbleness of them and maybe like puts his swollen, bitten hand behind his back and just...
Good, good. And he kind of like rubs his fingers together. Are you familiar with Vigreet the Bug Collector?
Not intimately. Please do go on.
Well, Vigreet has something that I need.
A bug?
Indeed,
Oh.
a bug. You are very perceptive.
Yes. I've been
Quick-witted.
called worse before.
Yes, a bug. One of only two of its kind. The female. I already have the male.
Of course you would.
A golden scarab. A beetle. Somewhere among her jars. Get it for me, and I shall reward you handsomely.
Why would one such as magnificent as yourself need a mere golden scarab? What is so valuable in a trinket like that?
Oh, it's just that the one I have is getting so very lonely. And that's when you see his throat balloon out, and you can see the outline of the beetle crawling around in his neck, pressing against the skin.
Stifling like a vomit. Luman's like, oh, I do see. And what does this creature bring you other than glory? Clearly glory.
So many questions, so many questions. There'll be somebody else through this door at some point, and I'll make the same proposition to them. Do you want the job or not?
I am more than your average pickpocket, sir. I am more valuable than 10 fools that walk through this door.
Perhaps you are. But you are also very small.
All the better for collecting things.
A good point.
So what is it that you want to offer me? I am not just going to go traipsing around and stealing from a great collector for no reason.
Well, let's just say, and then he kind of smiles. Do you have your rapier on you?
Always.
He says, let's just say that sword on your belt. I've seen another one just like it.
That's impossible.
That is not impossible.
What of it?
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to know? Let's take a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Ellen, I love your Mario.
Sorry, what now?
The Mario behind you.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, so great. I love. Oh, hang on. I'm not sure if you see my Yoshi.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Nerds. How's
I just love Nintendo.
Oh man, I've got a SNES. I had to buy one. Oh gosh, yeah, almost 10 years ago. I had to buy one just to rebuild that nostalgia, and so I can play all the old games. It's so great.
I don't blame you.
Hey Sabine, I'm really digging how much you and Noella are like Whovians.
Yeah, I'm a bit astonished because last week sometime I played with a guy named Tim, and he was pretty southern, I think, from his accent, and he had a Doctor Who t-shirt on and the poster in his room, so there are a lot of us, I think.
Yeah, just you don't know when you're going to come across them.
Come across what?
That's true.
Oh, Whovians.
Oh, I love Doctor Who. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. Yeah. Yes. I wish more people here were like into it, because like I don't get the impression many people in the Gauntlet are into it, because I never see anybody talking about it, you know. But...
Okay, we should start like a Doctor Who thread, because there's what is that? 80% of us here in this game.
I actually haven't seen them all. I've only seen I got right up to the start of the Matt Smith Doctor, which is a long time ago, and then they took him off Netflix, and so I haven't seen it since.
Oh man, you need to.
Yeah, I got to find a way to catch up, because it's I'm like very anxious to get caught up, because I would probably go back and start watching them over again, just because it has been a while since I've seen the David Tennant ones. But
that's what I do, like on the lead up to every new season, like rewatch all the.
Oh wow, I'm not that involved. I missed a lot of the Peter Capaldi stuff because I didn't much like him or his companion, and but I rejoined with Jodie Whittaker, and she's so brilliant.
She's
just
great.
So brilliant. It's amazing.
Anyway, this isn't a Doctor Who session. We will start that another time.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. I think now would be a good time to remind you all about flags, to give you all a chance to hit them before the session ends. You might want to take a look at those and some of those things in. And then also, I think it would be good to just go ahead and have everybody together. You've all had your fun kind of wandering about, but now you've all collected back into that, maybe that same dining room where Brendan, what was his name? Jack Shot or something. And the lady with the gold mask were hanging out. So, if that's okay with everybody. Although, Lomond, we left you on a mini cliffhanger of sorts. What was the last thing you asked him?
What's in it for me, essentially.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. He was basically saying, like, I'll show you where this other rapier is, the one just like yours. So,
yeah.
That you thought was a unique family heirloom.
I'm going to take the bait.
Okay. In that case, we'll put you all together then. Let's just have that scene. You've all had a long day, and you perhaps see Bowen with his blue book, and you now see Siobhan back in humanoid form, perhaps with a cockroach crawling in their hair. And the four of you are there. Yeah, go for it.
Hey, Siobhan, you have a cockroach in your hair. Is that on purpose?
I think I like cough and some bug flies out.
Mm.
There was an unpleasant incident.
Okay. Not so many bugs up in the north, right?
I hate bugs.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these bugs. Where did you get all of them from?
I followed some ants into a room and was swarmed, and Kitty was swarmed by bugs. And then I left, and the person in the room offered no explanation.
You want to take me back to that room? Hey?
Do you like bugs?
I guess, yeah. I wanna see these bugs.
I guess they have a certain aesthetic. Some of them have, certain aesthetic and scientific draws. Another one comes out. There's some coming out my nose.
You've got bugs everywhere, girl, boy, I don't even know, but you've got bugs everywhere.
Yes. Well, I was quite small when they all got in there.
Well, what did they do? Why did you let yourself do that? Like, what happened?
The room was dark. I was exploring, and then all of a sudden they swarmed me.
Can you take us to where that happened? That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
I vote for that.
But perhaps we should be more careful on the approach.
Careful
I will
approach,
promise
or
you
not?
I won't turn myself into a small cat.
Can you do that?
Oh, I can do anything.
Okay. Can you tell me who the proprietor of this inn is?
Yeah, it's Glippin, right?
Is it? It was the proprietor of the small inn on the non-astral plane, but not here?
He's probably the same guy.
Okay.
Oh, maybe he's just like tripping hard all the time. And so he's like in every plane at once. Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe we're still tripping.
Oh yeah, maybe we're tripping hard and we're on all planes at once. And oh my god, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Bowen, someone taps you on the shoulder. What do you do?
I go to smack his hand off my shoulder.
There's no hand there.
So I just smack into the ether.
Okay.
So are we going to the bug room?
What are we gonna accomplish there again?
You know what?
Well-
There might be some ancient texts for you, Siobhan. Like bugs, books. They usually go hand in hand, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they eat books?
Yeah,
Not
so
all
there
of
must
them.
be so many books there.
Okay.
I would like to see some books.
God,
Good.
God.
Okay, if you say so, I believe you. Let's
I'm
go
go-
and find some books.
I'm gonna turn into a bat.
Oh no.
Can I ask
you made-
why?
Because the room was dark and bats can use echolocation to navigate in dark places.
Okay.
But you can't talk to us if
Yeah,
you're
I
a bat.
can. The
Can't
cat
squeak.
talked. Remember
Yeah, the cat. You're right. It did.
We're on the astral plane. I could think I could talk to you.
Great. That's cool. That's wow. Didn't think of that. Not used to being on the astral plane.
Yeah, welcome to the astral plane.
Thank you, Bone.
So yeah, do your transformation. Roll it.
That's a 10.
You have 3 hold. You are now a bat, and your move is your bat move is echolocation. So, finding your way back to the room is not difficult. The door is closed at this point. What do you all do?
I test the door.
It opens.
Stealthily sneak into the room, hugging the wall.
As soon as you step into the room, you feel on your, I assume you're a barefoot halfling, you feel pugs beneath your feet. You're walking and crunching beetles and roaches and millipedes and things. They're not like swarming you like they did the cat, but they're definitely underfoot. And you see in the room, it's not a very big room actually. You see in the room, it's very, very dimly lit. In fact, the only source of light is coming from a person sitting at a table, sitting kind of up like this, skeletal in appearance, 2 candles in the eye sockets, 2 small candles, and arms moving up and down like this. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the arms are being operated with little sticks like a puppet. And the robe is pretty transparently covering the person operating the arms. And you hear just this, "Who enters the lair of the great, the all-powerful?"
Lamont says nothing and tiptoes along the side of the wall, trying to stay in the shadows. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Oh, Batty Siobhan. Well, one of my other motivations for becoming a flying creature was so I didn't have to touch the bugs on the ground, because we see how well that went for me last time. So I think I kind of like am flying in, and I kind of like fly over this person and then like fly around.
Also, you'll notice, Siobhan, you'll kind of naturally determine and echolocate perhaps. And also there's a little bit of light as well for the rest of you who can see better. There are glass jars and clay jars on shelves. Most of the shelves are jars. There's one shelf with books. And they are not just, the collection is all along the walls. What are you doing? Bowen and then Achaeus. Bowen, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I would like kind of just go into the room and be like, hey, just apparently we're sharing a room. It's cool. Like we can be friends, right?
You suggest to Vigreet that you're sharing a room with Vigreet?
Yeah.
But why? Vigreet the All-Powerful has paid her room fee and was assured that she would not be bothered and certainly would not need to have someone else stay in her room.
Maybe you'll take it up with the proprietor.
And who are you who dares address me?
I'm his bodyguard.
Are
I'm
you
also gonna
also
share
going to be
your-
staying in the room?
Yeah, I guess if he is.
Vigrit has looked into the flames of the past and the future. Vigrit has delved deep into that which is unknowable, and Vigrit finds this quite ridiculous and will have to have a word with the proprietor.
Perhaps the Greet should find a place of solitude.
Solitude from the many. Look all around you. We are all one. We are one and 1,000 upon 1,000. How can I ever find solitude when I have the voices of the many inside me, flowing through me? I see all, and I am also just a little bit behind on payment for the room, and we had this worked out entirely. You should go find another room.
No,
Oh.
I think we paid for this room, and this is our room. Like, you could stay here, but you need to like.
Please watch where you're stepping. Don't step on that bug there.
Okay, I won't step on any bugs.
Crunch, crunch, bugs beneath your feet.
Kind of hard not to step on any bugs. If you're the master of those bugs,
Just
why
don't
you
step
call
on
them...
that one right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
You have a
It's
favorite
very,
bug?
very expensive. Ancient and powerful bug.
I want to like fly into like this little robe that Vigritas got on, and obviously I can't really like see because I can see a little bit, but because I'm a bat. But I want to like get a sense of like who
There's a
actually.
person. There's
Yeah,
a person
bats can
under
still
there.
see.
Yeah, there's totally a person under there operating.
Squeak, squeak, and I don't like I don't reveal to her that I can talk, but this little bat like flies into her robe and it's like squeak, squeak, squeak.
And there's a moment where Vigrit's arms just collapse and the head kind of collapses a bit, and you see some shuffling beneath Vigrit's robe, and Vigrit shoos you out, or whoever's operating Vigrit shoos you out, and then the arms get back up. And yes, occasionally the dark forces interfere with my body, and it is most terrible and fell. I do not recommend it. Why this room, friend? Have you come to learn my dark secrets?
Real quick, I'm gonna like fly over and whisper into like Bowen's ear and be like, it's totally a regular person operating like a marionette. You should just go like look under the robe.
Oh, are we like in a... Yeah. Okay. I guess I would go up to the person. Like,
As
are
you
you
approach,
sure?
Vigrit will say, "Stand back. I am surrounded by a nimbus of death. I have dark forces flowing in and out of me, and it will poison your soul if you step any closer."
Well, luckily for me, I have shielding energy transposing everywhere around me.
Ridiculous. There is no such magic. You are a liar.
I am not. And yet, you stand here. I want to see what is deeper here.
You wish to explore the deeper mysteries.
I have energy amongst me.
Well, this is most unprecedented. I shall have to enter a trance. I shall have to gaze deep to divine the answer. Just a minute.
That makes sense.
Does it? I mean,
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
okay, I was confused for a moment.
Why did
Lamond, in the meantime, what are you doing?
Totally sneaking towards the shelf with the glass jars and trying to find a golden scarab,
golden
and also
scarab.
trying not to laugh at this farcical scene.
Roll plus wisdom, DR. See if you can find it.
Yeah, that's a pass. That's a 10 with my 12.
You have 3 questions. Go ahead.
All right. I don't want to ask who's really in control here. That's not my question that I'm interested in. What here is not what it appears to be?
Yeah. There is a you're having some trouble finding the golden beetle, but you do see a clay jar that has been sealed closed with wax, and it says on the jar, painted on the jar, it just says empty.
Ah. Yeah, look. Lamond isn't that silly. Carefully, ever so carefully, takes the empty jar off the shelf and pockets it.
Okay, that's fine. Then what?
I want to know what should I be on the lookout for?
This person, Vigreet, is plainly not a lich. And yet there must be some kind of magic that keeps all these bugs from going everywhere. They stay in the room. There must be something keeping them there.
Cool. I might hold my third one.
Fair. Meanwhile, old Queen Siobhan, you have a mission here in this place. A lot of bugs. What do you do?
Well, I am a bat, so I'm gonna try and sniff out this mosquito.
Yeah, okay. I mean, there are a lot of bugs. I will tell you, just to get straight to the point, I will tell you that you've been poking around trying to suss it out, and you are not sure which of these jars has the mosquito in question, but you do see Siobhan grab that one wax sealed jar, and
You mean Lomond?
yeah, Lamond, yeah. Is that what I said? What did I say?
You said Siobhan, who
Oh
is
yeah,
me.
you see Lamond with that wax sealed jar, and your bat sensitivity can hear something rattling around in that jar. It should be dead because it's wax sealed, right? But it's not. It's rattling around in there. It's intriguing, but and maybe it's the one you're looking for, maybe it's not. But without your ability as a person to closely examine the jars and things, I don't think you'd be able to figure out like what bug is which. So. But there's definitely something in that one, despite the fact it says empty.
Well, for now, I'm going to keep an eye on Lamont and try and figure out what's in the jar.
Yeah, indeed. Meanwhile, Achaeus and Bowen, at a certain point, the Lich raises back up again, half-melted candles in its eyes. This is meant to look like sort of ghostly light, right, coming out of its eyes. And the arms are waving up and down. We are very interested in sharing our dark secrets with you. But first, we would have you go on a quest for us.
Yeah, what quest?
There is a man who is also a long-term resident of the Golden Onion, and he has a bug that belongs to me. Retrieve it, and I shall share my power. Retrieve it, and I shall open the black box of doom for you to peer into. Retrieve it, and you will know the abyss.
But
Yeah,
that seems like a you problem.
doesn't sound very appealing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or I will clear some space for you to put your things down at great inconvenience to myself.
Well, I think we already got the room from the proprietor so
Yeah, we're staying here.
I'm starting to look around for those books that Lamont mentioned. There should be books. So
There is a single bookshelf on the wall with books on
nice.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's right above where Bowen is standing, in fact.
Oh, okay. Also,
no.
I think I'll take a look.
You reach up for the book and you stretch your hand up there, and you can see that the shelf is definitely not attached to the wall very good. There's a loose bolt, and the masonry is quite worn down. That shelf could come crashing down at any moment, really.
I turn to the Legrede and say, "Your shelf isn't at all safe."
Yeah, you
Yes, isn't it a shame? Even though I pay good money to stay here, it's quite shoddy, and I believe I should have a discount, but there has been some consternation about the matter. She's just got one hand going at this point.
Can I use my echolocation to just like bother her with high-pitched noises?
I suppose.
To like see what she does.
Yeah, I mean, you could be doing that, and probably she'll just say something about she'll complain again about, look, this creature got in the room. I mean, my goodness, you'd think for how much money they charge here, it wouldn't be like that, and so on and so forth. And Chaos, you can grab a book, no problem.
I'll do that.
Yeah. None of the books have writing in them. They're all blank.
That's kind of stupid. I show it to Bone. Look, book's empty. It's kind of stupid, isn't it?
Oh, an empty book is sometimes an open story.
A story yet to be written, right?
Correct.
Oh, well. You can light a fire with it,
No,
I guess.
I would never light a fire with a book. Are you kidding me?
You don't need, you maybe don't need a fire. I mean, I don't think you get cold anymore, or do you?
What of my quest? Will you help me retrieve my valuable bug?
Lamond leaps out from the shadows and like, hello there, fine mistress.
I say, are you also staying here?
Oh no, I'm just helping my friend settle in. I wouldn't dare impose on your humble lodgings.
Humble? This is the finest collection of insects in...
Oh, of course. I was talking about this establishment isn't quite fine enough.
It is a bit shoddy, yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yes, shoddy.
It's very big.
What of this?
More quantity rather than quality, really.
Yes, I have a similar grievance with the proprietors here.
I don't think it's that bad.
Well, you wouldn't have been.
I rattle the shelf a bit just for effect.
Oh, it's definitely wobbling the shelf now at this point. Yeah.
So you would like us to retrieve a bug? How would we know what bug it is?
You cannot miss it. It is a rare golden scarab.
What? Do you have one of these bugs?
No, I do not. I only had one, and now it has been pilfered.
Lamond makes a point of looking into the candles, which is clearly not the eyes. Now, you are very, very wise and very artful, but I too am artful.
And dark.
Oh, incredibly dark. But I have skills of my own, and I sense you might not be telling the full truth. How will we know what to look for if we... can we see?
What is truth? This is a concept for mortals. I have shaken off the mortal coil.
Okay, Lamond's getting bored.
Who has this bug? I mean,
Archaeus.
Yeah, I just want to know.
This person has the bug. Can you just knock their head off? Like, clearly there's someone else in there. We need to intimidate this fool. Get their bug. We've got a better offer.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make a show of putting up my spear, knocking down the shelf, just for effect.
The shelf actually holds in place. It shifts slightly, but the books fall off, but the shelf is intact.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to intimidate the person.
Drawing a weapon will do it. I think Vigreet says, "This is most inappropriate. Do you wish me to unleash my full power upon you?"
No, we wish for you to tell us where your bug is.
Ah, I see the truth of it now. It is all very plain to me. My rival has sent you. He has sent you to retrieve the mate, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was a lot more scary than you, buddy. So you're going to give us...
And yet, you have not seen the full extent of my power.
All right. What you got?
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, show us what you got. I step in front of the halfling for a bit, so I have an armor and Lamont doesn't. So
The hand rises up, vaguely pointing at the ceiling.
We look up.
And you see the largest spider you've ever seen. Huge, like a cart.
Ooh.
Fat and massive.
Oh,
Just hanging there. What you thought was darkness is just the large, oily black body of this spider. And I think it's a good place to have a little cliffhanger for the session.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's go to end of session. Who wants to read the questions for me?
I got them. Well, once bonds have been updated. Oh, okay. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes, everyone can mark an XP.
Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
One was overcome, the Astral Hunter. Yes, you can all mark XP, even though only the fighter did it, but still.
Did we loot a memorable treasure? I don't know how much.
The powder. Yeah, the
yeah,
powder.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know
Yeah.
how much we'll be able to remember of that one.
Everyone can mark XP. So you get 3 XP for those 3. Everybody. And then we'll go through alignments, I guess. Lomond, shift danger or blame from yourself to someone else. Did you do that? Okey-doke. Siobhan, eliminate an unnatural menace. Did you do that?
I don't think I eliminated one.
No, I don't think so. You kind of are one. But I don't think you eliminated one. Bowen, discover something about a magical mystery. Kind of. I think there is a mystery. I'm not sure if you've discovered the full extent of it. Although you were the person who kind of deduced what was going on with the powder, so I'll take that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can mark an XP there. And Achaeus, defeat a worthy opponent. You did. You escaped. Escape counts as defeat in this context, the Astral Hunter. So mark an XP there. And then if you believe you hit someone's flag, just call it out.
Well, I think I went along with one of Bowen's funny plans. In a weird and unlikely scheme, wild and unlikely scheme, I think at least twice.
I think so. I agree.
And the whole thing with the books, that was just because I really believed Lamont when he said that these bugs were eating books. So that's why I had this interest.
Indeed. Any other? So you get 1 XP in total for that.
Yeah, cool.
Any other flags?
I wasn't sure. Do you think I hit participate in wild and unlikely schemes with me when we're in a pinch? I don't know about.
I feel like the whole thing with the bug room, like, whose idea was that to go in there?
Oh well, it wasn't my idea, but I feel like I helped lay those grounds.
Indeed. Although you did want to go find the bug room, you had the motivation.
Yeah. I think I probably started that conversation and let other people make that decision for themselves. See what I did there?
I'll take it. I think it's fair. Any other flags?
I think Lamont hit my flag, attempt to reassure someone so I can make it clear how dangerous I really am, or something like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You try to use me as a threat, and
yeah. I'm like,
cool.
Yeah, cool. We can work this thing out. Stab him.
Any other flags for hit?
Achaeus I think you hit my flag of ask me a question that seems innocent, but is actually meant to get me to say what gender I am.
Yeah, I tried to make it more innocent and subtle, but then we were onto bugs, so I had to rush it a bit. But I tried. Yeah, I tried.
Okay, well, KS has an XP already, I guess, for flags. Is there no other hitting of flags? Basically, did Bowen or Siobhan hit one? Is that nope? Okay. In that case, I think we're done. So that was a great session. If you all advanced, you can all mark your advancement, or you can all like level up as soon as you are. Basically, as soon as you're not in combat and you just go rest and go sleep in your room. So it's kind of old D&D way of doing it, but that's the rule of the game. So you will still be kind of like at your current level until this encounter with Vigreet and her giant spider is over. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And we could do a real quick stars and wishes if you guys want. Stars are things that you enjoyed, and then wishes are things that you would like to see for next time. So does anybody want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I like the atmosphere. This time it was so zany and fun, and I liked the way it was going. That was great. I had a great fun with the whole this Vigreet thing and everything. Really,
Vigreet's fun. Awesome. Yeah. Any wishes?
Yeah, I want to find a forge for a case so she can use her move,
I
that's
think we probably
rather
think that
specific. That's rather specific. No, I'm fine.
Awesome. Any other stars or wishes?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just want to say, like, the druid doing druid stuff. Like, yeah, you gotta love that.
Murdering humanity, no big deal.
No, but
You're all being warned. Like you've had so many like warnings of like don't trust Siobhan and like
yeah, but druid being druid cat and druid, you know.
She's such a cute kitty, right?
Yes, I love druid.
Yeah, Druid's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I actually really enjoyed that moment where the cat goes up to the old lady and the old lady leans in and says some cryptic shit and the cat runs away.
Yeah, like everything we did with the druid made sense. So yeah, I love it.
Any wishes?
More druid. I guess like more combat. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we'll kick off with one for sure next time. Well, presumably, unless you guys just back off and give Vigreet her space. But otherwise, I think combat will probably happen next time.
Yeah, but also like you were amazing as GM.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Any other stars and wishes?
I think my star is for you, Jason, for just doing the like Wizard of Oz style Vigreet, like.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny.
I have to confess, it's not the first time I've played Vigreet. I've run this character in several different contexts, but she's a classic, so she always goes over well.
And then my wishes is just to transform into more animals because that is very fun for me.
I love it. It adds such a like nice, I don't know, just like a nice high fantasy flavor to everything, which I think is great. So, I agree.
And it also removes some of the kill all humans aspect of your character.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, remember, like, you do need to kill me at some point.
I mean, I don't really have that on my cat brain. Doesn't really have that on its mind. It just wants food. So
kill me.
I think I'll give a star for all of you, particularly for kind of leaning into the strangeness of this setting. I liked that it's a setting that is like both very high fantasy, very fantastical, and the tone can at times be very like comedic, but it's also like there is like this undercurrent of menace to it, which I also appreciate, like the lady with the gold mask, the figure breathing over Bowen's shoulder, the very, very, very strange sages in that one room. Like there's that whole like kind of strange undercurrent, almost like David Lynch undercurrent to things, which I thought was really good. So, and my wish is I do want you all to go to the cellar. I am very much pushing you all to the cellar. So make haste to the cellar. Ellen, do you have any stars or wishes?
Yeah, I sure do. Thanks for all those stars you guys did, because I'm gonna like high five all of them so I don't have to use them. But Rob, your deadpan way of
Such
playing.
a good sense of humor. I love it too.
Oh my God, it kills me because it just surprises me. It just sounds like you say, oh, and then I use my mage light. But no, you're just like that tone that just
very
gold.
Funny. Yeah. Bowen's deadpan is very funny. I enjoy it as well.
Loving it. And my wish is to see more of this giant bath man creature. This is very intriguing.
Indeed. It is. Awesome. Well, that was super fun. I'm going to stop this.